Admiral Tavor's fleet was shattered, and what remained of it limped back to the Citadel, where the leaders of the Alliance convened in an emergency session. They had underestimated the humans, and now they faced the consequences. "We must rally all available forces," Chancellor Droll of the Zarnuk snarled, his claws tapping nervously on the conference table. "If we allow the humans to continue unchecked, they'll tear through our territory like a plague." The other members of the Alliance, sitting in the Grand Hall of the Citadel, exchanged uncertain glances. The defeat had shaken them deeply. For centuries, they had believed they were the ultimate power in the galaxy. Now, they realized how fragile their rule truly was. "What good will more ships do?" asked Relin, the Tashari diplomat. "They have technology far beyond anything we've seen. Our fleets are no match for them in direct combat." Droll's eyes flared with anger. "So what do you propose? That we sit back and let them take the galaxy from us?" "No," said Zephyrus, the Chancellor of the Alliance, her voice icy but calm. "We can't fight them on their terms, but we can still stop them. Humans are few. We need to sow division, turn the galaxy against them before they can unite their scattered outposts." The plan was agreed upon. They would not confront humanity directly, but rather use their influence to pit other species against them. If humanity's resurgence could be framed as a threat to galactic stability, they could isolate them before their numbers grew too great. But as the Alliance schemed, they underestimated the resolve of the very species they feared. On the Revenant, Elias Sato and his fleet had set course for the next human outpost, a small, isolated colony hidden deep within a nebula, beyond the reach of most star charts. The journey had been quiet, but tension filled the air. Elias knew the Alliance would not let their defeat go unanswered. "How long until we reach the colony?" Elias asked, standing at the helm, his eyes fixed on the swirling colors of the nebula through the viewport. 2 hours, Captain," Kara replied, her fingers dancing across the console. Elias nodded but said nothing more, his mind raced with possibilities. The victory at the gravitational anomaly had been decisive, but they were still vulnerable. Their fleet was small, and while they had the technological edge, they needed numbers. Uniting the scattered remnants of humanity would be crucial if they were to stand a chance against the full might of the Alliance. As the ship moved through the nebula, a faint signal appeared on the sensors. Kara leaned forward, her brow furrowing in confusion. "Captain, I'm picking up a distress signal. It's human." Elias straightened. "Where?" Kara punched in a few commands, and a holographic display appeared, showing the location of the signal. "It's coming from the colony, but something's wrong. The signal is weak, like it's being jammed." Elias clenched his fists. "Prepare the fleet for battle. We're going in." When the Revenant and its fleet emerged from the nebula, the sight before them was worse than Elias had feared. The human colony was under siege. Alien ships, clearly not of the Alliance but belonging to mercenary forces, swarmed the colony's atmosphere, bombarding its defenses. "They've hired bounty hunters to do their dirty work," Kara muttered, disgusted. Elias wasted no time. "Engage the enemy, protect the colony at all costs." The human fleet, small but deadly, surged forward. The Revenant led the charge, its advanced weapons cutting through the mercenary ships like a hot knife through butter. Despite being outnumbered, the humans fought with precision and ferocity, using their superior technology to gain the upper hand. But the colony's defenses were already weakened, and time was running out. Elias knew they needed more than just brute force to win. He quickly formulated a plan. "Kara, get me a direct line to the colony's defense grid." Moments later, the voice of the colony's governor crackled over the comms. "This is Governor Malik. We're under heavy attack." "Who are wait? Are you human?" "Yes," Elias replied. "We're here to help, but we need control of your defense systems now." Malik hesitated only for a second, transferring control. "Do what you need to." As soon as the colony's defense grid came online in the Revenant systems, Elias used the colony's remaining power to create a massive energy pulse. It surged outward, scrambling the mercenary ships' targeting systems and leaving them vulnerable. "Nah," Elias shouted. The human fleet opened fire, tearing through the disoriented enemy ships with devastating efficiency. Within minutes, the mercenary fleet was in full retreat, leaving the colony battered but alive. Hours later, Elias stood in the colony's central chamber, Face to face with Governor Malik, the colony's survivors looked at the human soldiers with awe and disbelief. For years, they had thought themselves abandoned, living in fear of the day the Alliance would discover them. But now, hope had returned. "You saved us," Malik said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We thought we were the last, that humanity was gone." Elias shook his head. "Humanity is far from gone. There are others, scattered across the galaxy, just like you. We've been preparing for this moment. It's time for us to unite." Malik's eyes widened. "Unite? You mean reclaim the galaxy?" Hours later, Elias stood in the colony's central chamber, face to face with Governor Malik. The colony's survivors looked at the human soldiers with awe and disbelief. For years, they had thought themselves abandoned, living in fear of the day the Alliance would discover them. But now, hope had returned. "You saved us," Malik said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We thought we were the last, that humanity was gone." Elias shook his head. "Humanity is far from gone. There are others, scattered across the galaxy, just like you. We've been preparing for this moment. It's time for us to unite." Malik's eyes widened. "Unite? You mean reclaim the galaxy?" Elias' gaze was steely. "Yes, the Alliance has ruled long enough. They've forgotten who we are, but that ends now. We'll gather the outposts, build our strength, and when we're ready, we'll take back what's ours." The governor's face lit with a mixture of determination and hope. "Then we'll stand with you. Humanity will stand with you." The weeks that followed saw the tide shift. Word spread across the galaxy of the human victories, of their advanced technology, and their resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Some species, long oppressed by the Alliance, began to see humanity not as a threat but as a potential liberator. Quietly, they began to offer support, supplying resources and information in exchange for protection. But the Alliance was not idle. Behind the scenes, they rallied their forces, preparing for a final, decisive strike. They could not allow humanity to rise unchecked, not after seeing the havoc they had already caused. In the heart of the Citadel, Chancellor Zephyr stared at the galactic map, her eyes cold and calculating. "It's time to end this," she whispered to herself. "We'll crush them once and for all." Back on the Revenant, Elias stood on the bridge, watching as the human fleet continued to grow. More outposts were joining them every day, and their numbers were swelling. But he knew the final battle was coming. The Alliance would not sit by forever. Kara approached him, her expression unreadable. "You think we're ready?" Elias turned to her, his gaze firm. "We don't have a choice. The Alliance won't stop until they've wiped us out, but we have something they don't tour with to survive." Kara nodded, a fierce determination burning in her eyes. "For humanity, then." "For humanity," Elias agreed. As the stars stretched out before them, the humans knew what was at stake. They had waited millennia for this moment, and now, the galaxy would remember them, not as a lost legend, not as a forgotten species, but as a force that would reclaim its place among the stars. The final reckoning was coming, and this time, humanity was ready.